now it's time to look at the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings is it's a pretty good franchise. I mean, I've honestly have been a fan of the Minnesota Vikings as well. I've always wanted to root for them to win, win one, because they've been through some rough stuff, especially getting to the Super Bowl and having such fantastic teams and still not being able to get it done. It's kind of sad to see. But I think this Vikings team has a very good shot this year. I think they're 10-3 right now. I really do believe that they will be in contention for the Super Bowl, be in contention for a title. So it's very exciting to see. Minnesota is young and just a great team. I really do like the Minnesota Vikings overall as a franchise. Let's just take a look. January 28th, 1960. They've been around for 57 years. That was the day they were established. Their first season was 1961, and they play in the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, headquartered at Winter Park, Eden Prairie, Minnesota. So they were part of the National Football League, 1961. Since 1961, they were part of the Western Conference from 1961 to 1969, and then moved to the Central Division as well as 1967 and 1969. That was their division, their conference. Now they moved to the NFC. Since they've been in the NFC since 1970. They've been in the NFC Central from 1970 to 2001, and then shifted to the NFC North in 2002, and have stayed there. They are the colors of purple, gold, and white. Their fight song is Skull Vikings. Their mascot is Victor the Viking. Now the owner and the chairman is Ziggy Wilf. The president is Mark Wilf. The general manager is Rick Spielman, and the head coach is Mike Zimmer. And they've been the Vikings since '61, so not much has changed. Their nicknames they've had was the Vikes, the Purple People Eaters, which is for the defense back there in the '60s, '70s, and the Purple and Gold. They've won an NFL championship in 1969, this is before the AFL-NFL merger. So they were able to, win one, and, well, they did get to the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, looking at it, they won 4 conference titles. In 1969, they won the NFL Western, and then in the NFC, they won in 1973, 1974, and 1976. All 3 of those losing in the Super Bowl. So, not fantastic, but they did get to the Super Bowl, just haven't won one yet. They have had 19 division titles in the NFC Central, or NFL Central, 1968 and 1969. In the NFC Central, 1970 all the way to 1978, or 1970, 1971, excluding 1972. 1980, 1989, 1992, 1994, 1998, and 2000. And in the NFC North, they won in 2008, 2009, and 2015. Now, they've been to the playoffs 28 times, and from 68 all the way to 71, then 73 all the way to 78. They also won in 1980, 1982, 1987, 1988, 1989, 1992 to 1994, 1996 to 2000, 2004, 2008, 2009, 2012, and 2015. They played from 1961 and 1981 Metropolitan Stadium, moved to the Mall of America field of Hubert H. Humphrey, Metrodome, from 1982 to 2013, went to the TCF Bank Stadium 2014 to 15, and have since been in the U.S. Bank Stadium since 2016. Fantastic franchise. Fans are fantastic. Honestly, there's always a great vibe there in Minnesota. They just would love a championship for themselves, and that'd be nice to say that as I know people that are Vikings fans, they're dying for one. So we'll see if they can do it this year. To start out the Minnesota Vikings, we're gonna have QB Fran Tarkenton, aka the Scrambler. He's the guy that, well, he was very hard to bring down. Very hard to bring down. Imagine a version of Russell Wilson in the 60s. So that's pretty much what he was. He was just a scrambler, trying to get the open man. Pretty underrated quarterback. but not too underrated because he got to the Hall of Fame, 9-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, and won the MVP once. So he threw for over 47,000 yards, had 342 combined touchdowns, passing touchdowns, and he had 124 victories for Minnesota. He played 13 years in Minnesota, and he did lead them to the Super Bowls. So, yeah, he was just one of those guys that needed him the most. When it was crunch time, he can get it done. He had some great fourth quarter comebacks and some good game-winning drives. So overall, fantastic. And on top of that, he had 3,674 career rushing yards. That's really not bad for 32 touchdowns. He was a scrambler. He was able to kill you with not just your arm, but also with his legs. And so, again, fantastic way of starting off this segment. And Offensive Player of the Year, among other things that he's done. And but yeah, Brent Tarkenton, QB for the Vikings. It's a good choice. Running back, we're gonna have Adrian Peterson, AP. No need for a fullback. Adrian Peterson is a running back, but also he's a fullback. Like pretty much he is. The fact that he's got the speed like a running back, but if he has to run it down the middle, he's just gonna ram you and charge right through and plow right through, just like a battering ram, just like a fullback. Honestly, he's got that strength. He's got the ability to do that. He's a future Hall of Famer. 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. He's won the MVP. There was a year where he the prior year he had like 970 rushing yards in 2011 because pretty sure he tore his MCL or something, or ACL. Came back and he was so close to beating Eric Dickerson's rushing record, like single season rushing record. And just that in itself should tell you exactly what he's been able to do as just a human being. He's been able to just be phenomenal. And he's had over 12,000 plus rushing yards. He's won from 100 rushing touchdowns. And he's gotten the ball like 2,500 times. And he's averaged a 4.8 per carry. So overall, this is a guy that's dangerous, and as well as look at what he's been able to do: 252 receptions, 2015 receiving yards for 5 receiving touchdowns. So he's able to also be a receiving option. But there's no need for a fullback. He is pretty much a fullback and a running back combined. So having him there with what he's got to do, with how he does it all the time, yeah, it's scary. And like I said, it's a good start. Brent Tarkenton and AP, that's good. Now, we're going to start with the receivers. And what better way than to start out with wide receiver Randy Moss, a.k.a. the Freak. He's unbelievable. 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. He's done a lot. He's done a lot for the game. In Minnesota, though, most importantly, he had 587 receptions for 9,316 receiving yards and 92 receiving touchdowns. Overall, he's had 982 receptions for 15,292 receiving yards and 156 receiving touchdowns. It's a guy that's going to dominate no matter where he goes. So having him there is very big. He won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been on the All 2000s team. He's selected to that. Honestly, that's all you need to hear, really. Having Randy Moss on one side is going to be amazing. And since this is there is no fullback, we're going to see another weapon in there added. But before we get to that, we got to get to the other partner over there, which is, in my opinion, one of the best wide receivers of all time. I truly, truly love Chris Carter. Hall of Famer, 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. What he's been able to do from being with substance abuse and then coming back after having an alcoholic problem and then just being what he is right now. That's pretty fascinating. That's pretty amazing. It's a guy that's could accumulate 100 plus receptions in a single season. It's a guy that's caught over 1,000 balls. It's a guy that's had over 13,000 receiving yards. It's a guy that's had over 100 plus receiving touchdowns. Been in Miami for 12 years out of his 16 career, I believe. 16-year career. So he is a Minnesota Viking for sure. It's kind of sad. I really thought Minnesota should have been in that 98 Super Bowl, in my honest opinion. They just had a better team overall. much I can say other than that. You know, he's a good dude, and him and Randy Moss are going to do something legendary. So we are not going to put 2 tight ends again. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the only team that I put 2 tight ends. Just letting you guys know, just so as a warning. But anyway, you know, I usually say that if you guys haven't seen the other videos, I put a team to have 2 tight ends, and it was a San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers team. They had Kellen Winslow and Antonio Gates. Anyway, we're doing the third wide receiver set. It's going to be Anthony Carter. Anthony Carter played 85 to 95. A guy that played for Minnesota 9 out of his 11 years, and a guy that racked up 478 receptions, 7,636 receiving yards, and 52 receiving touchdowns as a part of the Minnesota Vikings. He did accumulate a little more, but not as much over there in Detroit. He just wasn't the same. But this is a guy that you need someone in the slot. It's a good, useful guy, and it's really what you need. You need a third guy that can go up the middle, and you know can take a shot, you know, or whatnot, and you know can get those balls that are right there, those slant routes. I think it's going to be a fantastic way for Anthony Carter's use. But yeah, Anthony Carter, Chris Carter, and Randy Moss are a fantastic wide receiver duo. Alright, and last but not least on the receiving spectrum, tight end Steve Jordan. Tight end, 6-time Pro Bowler, was a part of the Vikings his entire career. Played with them for 13 years pretty much. And a guy that racked up 2 receptions shy of 500, 6,307 receiving yards, and 28 receiving touchdowns. Guy that can catch. And a big guy, so he can definitely, he's going to be able to block. So, you know, he's done it before. He's been a Pro Bowler. You know, he's had his way. So, in all honesty, yes, I believe in Steve Jordan. I believe in his ability as a football player, and it's going to be great. Now, left tackle Grady Alderman. He's going to be anchoring the first line of the line. 6-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. Pretty much is a Minnesota Viking for the 14 out of his 15 years. His rookie year was in Detroit, and then after that was a Minnesota Viking, left tackle, and very reliable. So you're just going to see a reliable veteran, you know, just a tough-nosed linebacker from that era of the 60s, 70s. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very good to see him protecting Fran and getting some open lanes for AP. All right, now left guard. It's going to be Randall McDaniel, one of the best guards of all time. 12-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro, Hall of Famer. Yeah, not much else other than that. He's just a reliable guy that you could see, you know, barely missing a game. So 220 game starts is fantastic. Just veteran leadership all around. He was obviously at the time of that 98 Vikings team that really should have went to the Super Bowl, and I guarantee you they would have beaten Denver. But either or, fantastic player. And he made it onto the All 1990s team. Not much else I can say, but it's gonna be pretty good for Fran, because McDaniel and Alderman are not gonna allow too many sacks over there. All right, center is gonna be Mick Tingelhoff, a guy that was inducted to the Hall of Fame recently. 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. Again, Hall of Fame center that was very reliable. Started, I'm pretty sure he's never missed a start, and that's pretty incredible to say. Just overall, yeah, there's not much I can say other than that. He is one of the best centers, top 5 centers of all time. The fact that you have a guard that's one of the top 5 there, you have Alderman that's one of the best as well, and Mick Tingelhoff, which is top 5 as well. That's just it's just a really decent line. It's more than a decent line. It's living up to be kind of a legendary line to me, you know. Now the other guard position is going to be Steve Hutchinson, which is fantastic. What he's done in Seattle, he's done in Minnesota. Overall, definitely one of the best in this era. 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. He is also a candidate for being in the Hall of Fame. So that should count for something. So yeah, having him there, again, this is a very big, very legendary line it's starting to come out to. And then the right tackle is going to be another Hall of Famer, Ron Yeri, a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 6-time All-Pro, a big dude, big dude, and just like I said, a guy that played in over 200 games. Another one of those solid linemen that, honestly, you want there. He's a part of the All-Decade Team, All 1970s. Just overall, yeah, it's gonna be a pretty great time to see AP having little to no trouble going through defenses, because this line is big and this line is legendary, and it's a scary line. I really enjoy this line tremendously.